Welcome to the Yup Life podcast. Did you know that the world record for constipation is 102 days?
Welcome to another episode of the Yup Life podcast, episode number...
Are we sure it's 26?
26. Okay. Thank you all for joining in. We appreciate you all yuppies, muppies, anyone that's listening.
What is before yuppies? Yuppies in training? Because there's yuppies, muppies, but what's right before?
College students?
That's it?
Teenagers? I don't know.
Toddlers? Babies?
All right. I want to come up with a name for them.
So, none of us got anything to drink. However, we got the leftover in the fridge game if you guys want to play that.
Like Russian roulette?
Pretty much.
Russian roulette.
So you want to play, or are we not drinking today? I know you don't want to drink today.
I don't know. It's already been 5 days straight of just drinking.
Yeah.
I think my liver's hurting.
Oh, this is going to get real awkward real quick.
You guys drinking and me not drinking? Well, one episode we drank.
Watching everything he says like makes complete sense. We're like, oh.
I know, huh? That's hilarious.
So, Coors Light.
Tried and true?
Born in the Rockies, established in 1978.
Y'all basic.
Did you know that the Rockies are brewed near the Rocky Mountains in Colorado? I don't know if that's right.
Yes, it is.
It's like hecho in Mexico. Or made in Taiwan or something. Yeah.
Dude, what is that?
What?
What are you drinking?
It's neuroprotein. Have you ever seen these?
No.
Dude, like there's some that help you sleep. There's one that's supposed to be like a gasm for your brain.
It's a drink, dude.
Dude, no, man.
Come on.
Should make you smarter.
Do you guys remember those purple drinks in college? It was like it would make you sleep. It looked like an energy drink, but it was supposed to like
NyQuil?
Yes. This is syrup. What are you?
Yeah.
Joe, I said purple, not what color's NyQuil?
Robitussin? Is it Robitussin purple?
Well, to episode 26, and welcome back, Joey. Tell me where you've been. What's your yuppie thing?
I went to the Grand Canyon to go hiking at Havasupai.
We missed you, dude.
Google it. Cool waterfalls. Long hike. About 12 miles.
Can we expect some pictures on the Instagram?
Yeah, I'll post them up there. Make a video out of it eventually. But the coolest part was taking the helicopter out.
You took a helicopter out? Really?
We got a deal on it, so we flew out instead of hiking out.
That's pretty cool.
I've hiked out before, so it wasn't a big deal to me, but everyone else was like, oh, so tired. Everything's hurting.
Yeah.
They're like, screw it, let's just fly out.
People usually die on the way back, right?
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool flying the helicopter through. Well, I wasn't flying it, but riding the helicopter through the Grand Canyon. And then like you just like pop up on top of the canyon and then you're done. Like 5-10 minutes later instead of 6 to 7 hours later.
Dude, that's pretty dope.
Thanks.
How do you...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you like, I don't know, eat, shit, all that kind of stuff?
You bring everything in your backpack.
Okay.
Except the toilet. They have like compost toilets. They call them like, what are they called? Like pit toilets, where it's basically just a big container and they put a toilet seat on it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So it's just a big composting pile of crap.
Yeah.
That organisms eat the poop and breaks it down. And
God.
So I bet it smells wonderful.
it actually doesn't smell bad. Like they keep them great there. But some places like campgrounds that aren't well kept,
Yeah.
it smells so bad. It's like the river bathrooms. It's exactly like that. It's just a hole.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
But those aren't like maintained very well, so they smell pretty bad. But these ones have like vent fans that vent out.
Gotcha.
And then like they have wood chips you throw in there, so it like kind of absorbs the stench.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. It's a good time.
That's pretty cool.
It's like living out of a backpack is cool to me.
Yeah.
Bringing everything to live out of.
Yeah.
Sleep in, eat, drink, everything in a backpack.
You want to go minimalist?
I mean, the pack is like 40 pounds, so I don't feel very minimalist with that. I mean, I brought luxuries like alcohol and a phone charger and stuff like
The
that.
majority of your 40 pounds?
Yeah.
I was talking with I was hanging out with some friends this weekend, and they're asking where you're at, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's in Havasupai." They're like, "Why didn't you go?" I was like, "Yeah, that's not my thing. Like carrying around 40 pounds and like I don't know, rationing your food and stuff. I don't know if I could do that. So
Well, it's not really rationing. You have enough food, but you're not eating the greatest food. It's like freeze-dried stuff.
Yeah.
It tastes great because you are like exhausted and tired, and you've been eating like trail mix all day.
True.
So when you eat like a beef stroganoff freeze-dried meal, it tastes like the best meal in the world.
That's crazy. I feel like I would eat it all that one night. The first night.
do you are these like the military type of deal food? You know how they got the heat packs and then you do add water.
Yeah, those are MREs where it's like a chemical reaction to heat the food.
Yeah.
It's like microwaves it. But no, these are like freeze-dried. You just add boiling water and it invigorates it.
Okay, so
to where it's edible.
Okay, gotcha. That's pretty cool.
It's basically like astronaut food.
We also got a very scary text message from you. On like Thursday
Thursday night we were driving up and we nailed a deer.
Yeah, dude, that's so crazy.
Just came across the road and hit the headlight,
yeah.
and then like whipped around the side of the car and hit the fender and the quarter panel.
Dang.
Yeah.
Was it your car not fucked up at all?
Sort of, like kind of dented on the quarter panel, and the fender paint was creased and broken off, and headlight was totally smashed in. But
was this your vehicle?
it was the Escalade.
Oh, okay.
So
I was telling Ruben when we got that text message, and we found out you're okay. But I was telling him about a time that I was with my dad, and he hit like a buck in a semi, but the buck saw us coming and was able to like get down his horns, dude, and like dented in my dad's like semi.
yeah,
Like they're beasts.
if we hit it like head on, it probably would have hit the airbags and messed up the front end and blew the radiator.
Yeah,
And turn around. Or
that would have sucked.
Yeah, we would have been stuck there. Probably wouldn't have had any coolant in the radiator. Would have been draining it all out. So
Would have had some meat.
yeah, we kind of like kept pulling off, and we got like too far away from it to like go back.
Oh, really?
And it was dark out. I was like, I'm not gonna go hunt for a dead deer and try to find out where it is.
Coyotes will come get them.
Yeah, or someone else will run it over. So
That's dope, dude.
that was my excitement for the weekend.
Quick shout out to Boondocks. We're pretty much famous now, Joey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Friday, Steven and I were out there, and do you recall that picture of the ASU shirt?
yeah.
So it was featured on their TVs.
Oh, when we were there, or when you were there.
Yeah, on Friday.
Yeah.
So we were walking around telling everyone that we're famous and stuff. So
Dude, we're freaking out, right? We're like, oh, snap. We're pretty like drunker at this point. We're like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
And the bartender's looking at us like, why are these kids like super excited? I'm like, our friend's famous. And she turns around and it
Changes.
moves. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck.
yeah,
I was like, never mind.
You're talking about the one that was your shirt?
yeah,
Like
yeah, the ASU one.
without your face in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How could anybody know?
How did that end up on there? Did we hashtag it or something?
I hashtagged it
Later?
on there. No, I think that same.
Oh,
same
okay.
night. But yeah, dude, we had the yuppiest weekend together.
Yeah.
Since we missed you, we decided to hang out all the time.
We're pretty
And
much like attached to the hip this whole weekend.
we were, and drank way too much. And legit, I feel like the bartenders at Boondocks were like, "Why are you guys here again?"
I don't see the difference in the other weekend. It sounds pretty normal.
I don't know.
Drinking too much, hanging out every day.
That's true. I don't know. It was like
It's
extra.
not out of the norm.
Oh,
It was
we have
extra. It was extra.
we have an extra story though. On,
Yeah.
do you want to say it?
Well, we tried elk burgers this weekend.
Oh, okay. I have another story.
Yeah.
But we did try elk burgers.
It was delicious. Steven got elk from his coworker, I believe.
Yeah.
Dude, my
Coworker,
coworker,
if you're listening, thank you very much. He shared it with me. It was delicious.
Hey,
my coworker just got one too, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring in some milk in the office."
nice, dude. Get us some.
Was it good?
It was
It was
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. There's a little gamey taste to it, but I liked it.
But I mean, if you doctor it up like what I did,
Condiments and can't tell.
bacon.
I'm not too sure if Chris liked it though. He stopped eating it like halfway through.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't.
So we're like, is he full? Or is he
No dude ever stops eating a burger.
That's right.
Unless you don't
Chris. Because he was like, I like it, I swear. Like, no, you didn't.
That's bullshit.
I'm gonna tell my coworker. But I think it was on Friday night, we decided to ride scooters to go get food. So we're like hopping on these scooters. Dude, have you ever been on one?
Yeah.
Dude, they're fucking fast,
They're
right?
pretty quick. I think they do like 15 or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got on the Lime. Lime now
There's
has
3 of them, man. There's
Oh.
Lime, there's Bird, and there's some other red ones that just say like Razor on it. I see them everywhere now. It's insane.
Dude, but we went to McDonald's next to the Fries.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is about like 2 miles away from here.
probably. And that shit was closed. So we're like, fuck. We start heading back and decided to cut through like a park.
Where we used to play kickball through that the Greenbelt Park.
Mm-hmm.
El Dorado? I don't know.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think so.
Where the frisbee golf is and stuff.
Yeah. And there's like sprinklers going off. So we're like having like the best time of our lives, right? For some reason, I press the brakes. Fucking just tail like kicks out. I fucking go flying.
Yeah.
Ruben decides I'm not going to run him over. So he presses his brakes and it goes flying too.
Wasn't it just like last episode or 2 ago and Ruben's like, I'll never ride a scooter again because he broke his arm?
Yeah, that's true.
This is why I don't.
Dude, and
You
yeah.
always get me in trouble into things.
I am. You're welcome, sir.
I don't do peer pressure anymore.
Dude, it was so much fun. Like I didn't realize how muddy we were until the next morning because I even fell asleep in my bed.
Oh, no.
With my clothes on. Woke up the next morning. I was taking off my clothes, took off my underwear, and like just saw like brown and I was
Skid
like,
marks?
Yeah, I was like, did I poop myself? And then I lifted it up. It was all mud. So I was like, fuck. Yeah, dude, I was all
funny.
muddy.
My back left cheek was all muddy, and then
Inside your pants?
No, just in my pants. However, I fell on. I don't know. I hit a rock or I just fell perfect. Like, but my thigh is bruised up,
Nice.
and it hurts when you touch it in that area. But it,
Who's going to touch it? All right.
exactly,
Good bird.
exactly. Well, I'll be done for the day. So,
Dude, what's today's topic about, man?
all right. So I thought this was going to be an interesting one. We've talked about technology. We've talked about health. We talked about even some education and whatnot. But we never talked about how that's going to be in our future. How is that going to play out? And I know we've done a 5-year plan, but that was like about goals, setting goals and stuff and outcomes. But I want to talk about what's the future going to look like from our perspective.
You talking about 30, 38? Or is there a range to this? Just nothing, just a future.
Just the future.
Like how things are trending.
Yeah, trending, and then what's going to be what's going to lead to, say, even to where the point when we're like 50s, 60s.
What are the millennials going to be like
Yeah.
in 30 years from now?
Yeah. And what's the world going to look like? Just because one of the things I was thinking about is, well, I guess like in college right now, a lot of the big things. When we went to the school for sustainability, so it was kind of part natured into it. But in overall, a lot of like in our generation, millennials, they see as global warming as a big impact and stuff like that. Is that really going to be focused on and worked on in our time? Just because now that all the people are out of school, well, not all of them, but our generation's entering the workforce or in the workforce, are they going to try to work on that, and then maybe in the future it's actually something's gonna be different, things like that.
Right.
Dude, how different is it? Like, I think our parents' generation was the ones that are like, I think they kind of knew about, let's say, like global warming, but they're like, fuck it, it's oil, just burn it.
Right. Yeah.
So shit's way different now.
Yeah. The generation before us was very, what's the word? I want to say like consumerist, but I don't know if that makes sense. They were just like, we got money, we can spend it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Who cares what the consequences are?
Yeah.
And now everyone's like kind of forward thinking, how do we fix things that are broken?
I was looking up an article beforehand, and it was actually like the number one thing that it says that millennials are worried about in a global overall of life or something like that. Second was like warfare or something like that. That's the second thing they worry about the most. But
Really?
It was. I gotta find that article again, but it was interesting on how they placed. I guess what our generation is takes into.
Global warming was first.
Yeah.
Dude, was PETA a thing for our parents' generation?
I don't know.
Because I think that's also like brand new. Conservatives. How do you say the people that want to conserve nature?
Conservationists?
There you go.
It was founded in the 80s, 1980.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's because it usually takes a while for someone or for something to start off or get traction.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of was looking on the internet for some reason, some Reddit post. It was like a Twitter, and just kind of skimming through the comments, it was kind of eye-opening because it was like saying that people are like liberal and forward-thinking when they're younger, and they push for things and they strive to get things done to fix the things that are important in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get older, they just turn, conservative, and they're fine with the way life is, and they don't want things to change. They want things to stay the way they are because things have changed to where they want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just set in their ways.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's,
Yeah.
it's like after we're done being millennials and trying to push for, climate changes
Mhm.
and, like social changes and financial changes, we'll get set in our ways. We have our own system set up already.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like up to the next generation to push those things forward.
Yeah. I've always seen it that the protesters are always college students. Right? Like they always said like this is the time that you need to push for what you believe in, blah blah blah.
Right.
And yeah, dude, I feel like once you get older there's more I don't say more important shit, but you're just worried about feeding your family,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you're okay, and that's about it.
Right.
Worried about? No, I wouldn't say. Well, yourself, as in not just like yourself, but like you're saying your immediate.
Yeah, it's people right around you.
Yeah.
Like the world becomes less important to you, and your world becomes the people close to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you don't see like 40, 50-year-olds out there rallying for, BLM and stuff.
Nope.
It's always like younger.
Unless you're Bernie Sanders.
See, that's kind of funny because it's like you always think the older person is conservative and wants to keep the country the way it is. But a guy like Bernie Sanders is, how old is that guy? Is he in his 60s, 70s maybe?
He looked older than that.
Yeah, and like really pushing to change the country.
Yeah.
But
Shit's crazy.
so how do we keep the chain moving? Like, how do we keep the older people to push for a better sustainable country and not just have it the burden on the younger people?
Yeah. Dude, I think so even now, right? I feel like a lot of people in our generation are not cool with like the binaries, like how people, how right now, like a lot of people in our generation like the binary system, let's say of like male, female, like they're not super open to like, desires or whatever. But we think we're like forward thinking, I just think like the older generations maybe thought they were forward thinking, and like it's just going to keep on progressing that way. Like I think like we're not going to be able to push for things when we're older because we might not view it the same way as like very, very young kids.
Because you're more experienced and well-versed.
Or you're just more conservative.
Yeah. Dude, I want to make this term up. I don't know if it's real, but I think we kind of just defined generationism.
Okay.
Trademark it.
I don't know if it's a real word, but like there's always this like division between like younger and older generations.
There is.
Why can't we just like work together?
Maybe that's the same thing, but maybe it comes back to what you were saying, Joey. Like the older generation has already got to where they wanted, I'm done.
Yeah.
I did my part.
It sounds a little selfish, but
Yeah.
I know we are generalizing for sure.
Yeah.
Like not every 50-year-old doesn't care about the society, but in general, like you said, college students are normally the ones out there protesting.
Yeah. Dude, just on that topic, I guess generations. So I stopped listening to music for a little while and just really hit podcasts hard. And now that I'm going back to like trying to listen to music, I'm like, fuck, this kind of shit kind of sucks. So So, you know, like your parents are like, your music sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I'm getting to that point.
That's how I was that whole episode. Was talking about music.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're sounding like Joey right now.
Yeah, man. I am.
You just gotta be open, man. You just gotta be open to the sounds. So basically, what we're saying right now is just like,
The future of millennials is becoming the old conservative dude that just cares about his family.
Could very well be.
that makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if I probably am heading in that direction. As of now, I kind of, care about what's around me more than what's like the bigger things that are going on. Just
Right.
because, I don't know.
That's what's more important to you, honestly.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of hard to see into the future and be like, oh, I care about global warming when you're so focused on just feeding your kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Make sure they're all right.
Another thing I read in that comment section was it's hard for people to care about things that don't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think the thread was more about like rich people are just more about themselves compared to the poor people are more about like everyone else.
Yeah.
Like the more rich people don't care about fixing like the welfare system because it never has affected them and never will affect them.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's also like a gap between like the financial system and the generation system.
Yeah. I don't know why, but that reminded me of, they took like a poll of like who's happier, and it was like rich people versus, I guess, poor folk.
Mhm.
And I think it was like the poverty line. And it turned out like folks that were below the poverty line were more inclined to be happy because they had more of a sense of community. And turns out like you rely on other people more, right? So
Makes sense.
yeah, like you're more into your neighbors. Usually if you're rich, you go buy a house on an estate and you
Don't see your neighbors.
don't see your neighbors.
Isolate yourself pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So
You guys
What
want,
else?
You guys want to talk about like specific future topics?
yeah, we have
You mentioned sustainability.
What about food? Right now the big push again is like sustainable, healthy foods and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In 30, 40 years, do you think we're going to be eating more of like, or is that going to be like the common food, or do you think it's going to be? How's that? Where do you foresee food coming?
I don't
Or-
think you know how expensive like healthy food is, right?
It's up there.
So like the poverty level people can't afford healthy food, and population is still exponentially increasing, I believe. So how do you produce more healthy food while sustaining enough for the population?
Yeah.
I don't see that as being possible. Like I feel like health food is going to be there, but it's not sustainable.
It's still going to be.
It's not going to be I mean, it's mainstream, but it's not going to be the majority, I guess.
One thing that very like surprises me is we're becoming more health conscious. Like you're seeing everybody trying to be on diets and all this kind of stuff. But I just was reading articles before this, and every single one pointed that the burger is back and it's like inclining in sales and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
elk burgers.
elk burgers. And yeah, like that just, I don't know, that very like it confuses me because I see every trend, like people want to be more healthy. Hell, you never heard about kale before,
Right.
CrossFit, right? So like yeah, and now
Places like Whole Foods and
Whole Foods.
Natural Grocers and
Yeah.
all those places.
do you know
Sprouts.
how big Salad and Go is now? Like there wasn't a Salad Go, I feel like 3 years ago.
One popped up down the street, and I've yet to try it.
In the past month, right? So that's what, 30 days? I've had it about 20.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been trying to go there, but it's always been like after 9 o'clock, so
Really?
it never works out.
Yeah, they close pretty early. And talking about sustainability, so I think this is how they lowered down the prices is by being more sustainable because it's actually super cheap. Compared to everywhere else, you get like a salad. It's like what, like $20, 15.
For you,
If you get double, my bad. If you get like double chicken, yeah, the avocado, all that kind of stuff. But over here, it's like $8 a shit ton of chicken in a whole salad. But what they do is they don't give you a bag, they don't give you a fork, and they don't give you napkins.
So they cut down on their like overhead costs.
Exactly. So
It's just the bowl of salad.
Yep.
Right.
yeah. So I think that makes them cheaper, and it also might help them out with sustainability.
Paper straws, man.
Paper straws.
Say.
It's hilarious. But and then what was your point before the show?
The future of avocados. What's
Future
going to
of
happen with
avocados.
avocados? They're like the big thing right now.
Yeah.
Would you say they're big back in the day?
Dude, growing up, I don't remember hearing.
I don't know. I always loved it, like when my mom would buy avocados and put them in sandwiches, but I can't say it was like. I don't know. My friends never ate avocados. I don't know.
I feel like I feel like I can remember the first time I ate it, or like my mom made like a guacamole, and I was like, oh, green stuff, and
I just felt like guac was not extra, like when I was a kid.
It was mainstream.
yeah.
No,
that's
I
it.
mean not like that. I mean like you don't pay extra,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows?
So-
It's gonna be pushback by avocado.
I want health food to be every type of food, but it's not convenient. It's not quick. It's not cheap.
Nope.
And that's what appeals to the masses.
What do you think it's gonna be like, Steven, on like food just overall? I mean, you're just saying like salads go, salad and go.
Salad and
but
go.
what do
Yeah.
you foresee in like?
I think, man, I don't know. I picture the world in two extremes. Like, there's people that are going to want to be super fucking healthy, so places like Salad and Go are going to thrive. And then people that don't give a shit, or also just want something cheap and fast. So I think it's going to be these two extremes, and then everything that's in the middle is going to kind of suffer.
Like Buffalo Wild Wings and Applebee's.
Yeah,
Those places,
Chili's,
they're falling out.
They're falling out because you either want one of the extremes.
You want McDonald's or you want like Chipotle or Salad and Go.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do like I have seen a trend of companies and restaurants putting calories on all their items,
Actually, you know what? So yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
or even just adding more healthy options. Like you would go to McDonald's before. They never had salads. They never had wraps, did they?
Oh no,
When we were younger?
Mm-mm.
no, never.
Got rid of the super size. I think it's still the large size, but whatever.
Yeah, they just kind of hit it in there.
Yeah.
Take it away.
But I don't know if that might be like an FDA push. I don't know if they required that. But you do kind of see a move towards people being able to be health conscious.
Yeah.
I the other day I ran out of protein, but I've been wanting to switch protein brands because I found a website that happens. Protein, I don't think it falls under the FDA. Like it doesn't. It's not required to be under that.
And the
Yeah.
sports supplement is not.
Okay, none of them. Okay, steroids.
Nope.
So I was starting to look at it. I was like, oh, I'm curious to see what's in it. And I was looking with you, Stephen, the other day at the gym, and it was like it has a lot of lead and cal. I don't recall the other one.
Yeah.
But it was just like really high amounts. I was like, oh crap! I've been. It made me stop and buy another brand because I was like, I want to be a little bit more conscious.
Are those things in the ingredients?
One of them was I want to say because it was a chocolate. It was a chocolate flavored, and I started. It wasn't the lead part. It was like
I can't remember either, man.
Caladium. No.
Cullium?
Maybe is that
It was like COLLIUM.
it's some metal, but it turns out you get it from cocoa beans, and so I was like, well, it's chocolate flavored. It's gonna be in there then if it's really hard to pull that out. But there was high levels of lead. That's the one thing that not freaked me out. But I was like, oh, probably shouldn't have that much lead in my diet.
It's a little scary.
Cadmium.
There we go. Thank you.
Cadmium.
Yeah.
So it just has a lot of heavy metals.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's in like plastic containers and stuff. Oh, I guess BPA, but yeah.
So
Is this a new thing or
sorry, what do you mean by new thing?
this finding of these heavy metals in protein powders?
There's a website called Clean Label Project. I don't know where I came across it. I was looking up for proteins on Amazon, and all of a sudden there's someone put a comment like, oh yeah, careful because it's got a high levels and it's like, check out this link. And I went through there and I was like, oh, and I started going through the website and I was like, oh, this is.
I mean, I'm just wondering if,
interesting.
like, is that one website like credible, or is it like
That's a good point.
Bro Science? Is it like a
There for sure is websites though that they test like certain products and they just put their shit out there for free.
Mhm.
I forgot what the fuck they're called. But yeah, there's for sure some.
I mean, like this one says, study that alleges many protein powders contain heavy metals. Gets big pushback, including threatened legal action. So FDA may even step in on it.
If it's like excessive.
Or someone may step in on it. Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like it would be very tough to even step in on it. Just because it's a supplement, you're not selling like a food.
Right.
You know, you could buy it, not buy it. It's up to you.
I guess on the practicality. Well, so back to that food wise, but and sustainability or future of food. What about like the whole genetically altering stuff? I mean, I know that some of it's already happening, but like do you think? I guess that's one of those things that's kind of like still controversial and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's just people are afraid of it because they don't know about it. But most of the time, the GMOs are just there to alter the crop to be resistant to pests or like weeds and stuff. So it's either they spray pesticides and herbicides on your plant and you eat it, or they alter the DNA of the plant to not have to spray the pesticides on it. So it's like, which one's worse?
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's been enough studies on GMOs, but from everything that I've read, they're not bad. But people are just afraid of them because these companies are doing it and the companies are out for profit. And are the companies being monitored when they do their testing in GMOs?
I've heard there's certain GMOs though that like everything causes cancer, but there's a certain way that it breaks down in your body that you can't technically break it down. So I think there's like, I agree. Like there's either you could have the possibility of famine, of like shit just getting wiped out from like, I don't know, a disease or whatever, how the hell famine works. Or, you genetically modify your shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to backtrack for 2 seconds. What's GMO?
Genetically modified
organisms.
Okay. I was going to say growth. I thought it was like some like growth hormone or something like that.
They just like alter the DNA of an organism.
I wonder, I mean, yeah, so they are doing, they have some of that stuff out right now. And
no, I mean, like you've been eating GMOs for a long time.
Oh, then I'm good. Let's keep it going.
Most packaged foods contain ingredients derived from corn, soy, canola, or sugar. And the vast majority of those are genetically modified in North America.
And it's specifically, from what I remember, it's a certain chain in the corn oil that you could definitely not digest. There's there's something missing chemistry wise. So, one thing that I see as a trend too, though, everywhere has like a vegan option now. Not everywhere, but
restaurants,
a lot of places. Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. And before, like, 3 years ago, there wasn't.
And like allergen options.
Allergen options.
Yeah.
So these restaurants, I feel like, are going to have crazy menus. Like,
in the future.
Yeah. If you're a carnivore, you can have this. If you're, vegan, have this, blah, blah, blah.
I think I talked about this before, but I feel like the whole GMO, gluten-free, all that stuff is like partially a marketing ploy too, because some companies use it as a label on things when it clearly wouldn't already have that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like
that's
things
true.
that would never have gluten, they put gluten-free on it just to say it's gluten-free.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it doesn't
Do you
have
need,
gluten.
yeah. If you're a celiac and you really can't eat gluten, you know what has gluten and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I have a gluten intolerance, like I feel like there's a lot of that, like self-diagnosed intolerances.
There definitely is.
So the companies are catering to these people that don't want to eat gluten.
You know what I think might happen though too? Like, I know like a lot of, this might sound bad, but so like a lot of vegans, right? Like they decide to eat certain like foods that are made like in a lab or I don't know, like tofu. Like how much energy does tofu cost to make compared to killing a cow?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you could potentially be messing up the environment a lot more. And most vegans are kind of planet Earth conscious, I guess. You could definitely be messing up, sustainability wise, the Earth, while eating meat might be better for it. So
it's like that age old question, like the electric car takes so much like gas and coal and fuel to produce,
right?
Which may be more than the lifetime of a car, anyways.
Right.
That it consumes.
So I think studies will eventually come out to the point where it's like, hey, this might not be the right way to do this. Let's start doing shit, I guess, like a little more ethically, but or just have coworkers that go kill elk.
We're opening an elk farm in the future. No.
Dude, Ruben really has a plan to open up an elk farm.
We'll talk about it off air. I can't I can't give them the ideas out there.
Gotcha.
I got it already planned out.
It's funny.
So what about media, like social media and stuff? I mean, social media is changing so fast. It's very rapid and whatnot. But in the future, so one of the things I thought was interesting. So right now, you know how a lot of the big things right now are like YouTube stars and stuff like that, and they film themselves in front of the computer doing whatever. I was at my parents' house, and my niece was watching Barbie. It was like a Barbie cartoon. The thing that threw me off was that it was Barbie was filming herself, like the cartoon was her sitting at a laptop and whatnot, and then she's like, hey guys, I just moved into my new house, check it out, and it cuts to another frame and it's her walking with like a phone, but like
yeah,
the selfie mode, walking as she's talking, and I was like, this is a cartoon, but and for us, this is something we would never ever see.
Nope.
Unless it was a short sketch in a show, just a very, very short sketch, but not the whole thing. It threw me off. I was like, wow. So I'm really curious, like, again, like now the younger kids, I mean, we're doing stuff that's going to be different in the future, but the kids now, or toddlers now, it's going to be, what are they going to be doing,
Yeah, dude. I feel like it could either go one or two ways, like social media. There could be a point, I want to say like a tipping point, where, so right now, the big reason like social media is so big and why everybody wants to do it as well is, one, it gets you famous, two, it gets you paid, right, because it's advertisements. But let's say there's 1 million Logan Pauls out there. Because everybody, this young generation will try to do that, right? So all of a sudden there's all these fucking people doing it. Like, it's not going to be worth advertising on one person's channel anymore.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a point where it just...
Saturation.
Yep.
Podcasts.
Podcast could be out. It'll be hopefully past our lifetime. And then I think, or you get rid of movies, and now all you do is just watch people.
Just reality.
Yep.
I really don't think, I really don't think movies are going to go away. I think that has already stayed, I think that already tested the
Stand the test of time?
Yeah, there you go. I think that one's going to stay. And I would say theater probably won't go out.
Theater won't go out?
No. It's a very... I think those are two things.
I could see a theater definitely
maybe,
going away.
Maybe.
When's the last play you went to?
Never.
And
Grade
that was
school.
Huge, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. What?
No, just like, yeah, that's a good point. I've never.
Yeah.
Grade school. That's the only time.
Because you were forced to?
Did I ever tell you guys I was in grade school? I was like 4th grade. I was like the co-star of a play, not co-star, but I was one of the headlining acts. But I was in a penguin suit. I had a weird voice, like, I talk like this, or something like that.
There has to be a video.
It is. It's on VHS.
Where's the home video?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's there. But yeah, I made the
Yeah, we gotta watch that
for sure.
Yeah.
And it was all downhill after that.
You peaked too early.
Yeah.
Your acting career.
How about like receiving information, as in like, right now, I mean, phones, it's like right there.
It's hard to say. Like, can it get any easier than that?
I feel like there's a way. It's hard to see it, or.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
The only way I could think about it is, you know how we have a memory? So we have memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's limited. Some people have better memory than others. Some people have like, what is it called? Photogenic?
Photographic memory.
Photographic memory.
Photogenic. That's like you look good on camera.
Yeah. There's going to be an ability for you to like put like a terabyte in your brain.
So you think we're just going to become robots, essentially?
Nah. I just think it's going to be like a memory bank that you could store shit on and you could access.
I got one for you guys.
There was a Black Mirror episode about that.
Oh, God. Dude, I've legit had like 3 ideas before this, like just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruben's like, that was on Black Mirror. That was on Black Mirror. I'm like, gosh, damn it.
But like the dude ends up, I forgot what it was, like seeing his wife cheating on him or something. He keeps replaying it and he goes crazy. And
oh, that's the worst.
So the one thing I can think about changing social media is how do you get your news, as in like news sources. I think that's going to change. The reason why I was saying that, as Steven and I were sitting here trying to think, like go through topics and stuff and whatnot, we were like, well, what's a reliable source that you use?
for news?
Yeah, and both of us were like, I don't know.
Really have one.
And what's a non-biased? That was one of the things I was coming across stuff that
I have to say the radio.
It's non-biased?
Yeah.
I think radio is super biased.
Well, the station that I've heard it on is just like, it's the news.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like radio stations, unless you're independent, you have
I
sponsors.
think like NPR is pretty down the middle.
Really?
Yeah. I don't listen to it, but
I thought NPR was known to be on one side of like politics.
I thought so too, but I
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't go into politics.
yeah.
But yeah, that's tough, dude. And I think, I don't know.
I was just like looking through here. I was like going through the internet. There's a lot of stuff that you can tell immediately it was biased just because who that website was represented, and it was like everything was angled to them. Which I mean, it makes sense. But if you're just trying to get facts or
like what are facts nowadays?
yeah,
Well,
NPR is more or less liberal, apparently.
yeah, I think no matter what, you're on one side or the other.
so
I feel like news is just news. How do you...
How this person gets hit by a truck? How do you fuck up?
Or I mean, like, so-and-so is under investigation for this.
Right.
Like what?
the whole CNN and Fox, them two are completely. That's what I mean. Like you can clearly, when you go on their websites, you can see it's that's.
I don't think news or politics are going to change in the future
No.
in terms of like how it's been done.
Yeah.
It's been the same for how long? There's always been two parties. There's always been like two sides. There's always been two opinions.
I think
It's always like,
Weren't there was like other parties like the Whigs, and I'm just kidding.
Freemasons.
I pay attention to history a little bit, so I was kidding for people are if they let's flip it out.
I feel like the political system will change.
really?
Yeah.
Do you though?
I not maybe not in our lifetime, because there's so much money behind it too. But I think eventually, like I don't think everybody would have two parties. Like we'll just have two parties. I don't think that's going to be.
There are more than two, but
technically,
yeah.
I mean, when it comes to elections, they only get like 5-10% of all votes, and that's it.
Why even run?
I don't know. I don't think they'll change. But
So
eventually.
So you think it's still in the future? It's still going to be the two party system.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know what? Okay, maybe I lied. I think there's always going to be one that gets into like power, and then there's always going to be a powerful second person
Against it.
And then it's always going to be just extremes, right?
Like it may not be conservatives and liberal, or it may not be conservatives and liberals. It may be, 1 and 2 or
right,
A and B.
It's not going to be Democrat, Republican.
Right.
It's going to be some other.
So like people's
weird
views
shit.
may change, but ultimately there's always someone, because it's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's always an argument against your opinion.
Especially if they're like how we have it here, it's just one president, right? Just one person. So he's a human. He's going to have certain,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's going to be people in his pocket or his ears.
Right.
So that's going to be really tough. Unless we had a panel, but then what if they don't agree on shit?
And if they never come to agreement for something, it's just going to be going. It's just going to be sitting there. And
Yeah. Well, you know what? We don't even have to worry about this. It's going to be AI. Just like controlling the whole
It's
world.
gonna
Like war games.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see that movie?
No.
It's pretty old, but it's like, it's a simulation of war, like how to win the war. I think they developed it to like plan out how to win this war.
Mhm.
And like the kid plays the game and he keeps playing it or whatever. And the only way to win, because like every time he plays the game, the world ends up blowing up because of a nuclear war. Everyone blows each other up. And the only way to win is to not play the game.
Are you serious?
wow.
Yeah. Spoiler. But
Gosh dang it.
so it's kind of like that. It's like, just don't do it. And that's the only way.
Yeah. Gosh dang it.
AI. You said something about the AI.
Mhm.
AI. Do you think that's going to be a big deal? And
That's what I was thinking, is like AI is either making all the decisions for you, but
Skynet, dude.
Yeah, it's like Joey said, if you do AI, we're fucked. If you don't do it, we might be okay.
right.
Yeah, but guess what? There's going to be money behind that. You want everything to be, like, how do you say, like they like a Roomba. Like you don't have to do shit. It's smart enough to go clean your house. So everybody wants that. We just talked about a fucking washer dryer that do everything for you.
Combo, yeah.
So
I feel like technology, the root of technology is laziness.
it is. Yeah, definitely is.
Or are we just too busy to
Convenience.
to do more things?
Right.
It's both.
Both.
Yeah, I think there's a point where convenience turns into lazy. Because before you had to make your own butter and shit, like
But like the point of
Take
technology is to make things easier for you.
right. Yeah,
Right.
But now-
Essentially.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
yeah. But now you don't even have to go to the store to get butter.
Right.
You can get delivered to you.
That's a good point.
So there's a certain point.
Medicine. What do you guys think about medicine in the future?
I think people are less inclined to just take what the doctor says and run with it, and more about doing their own research, getting the doctor's opinion, and making their own decisions.
Oh shit,
I think that's
really.
I think that's been a big shift lately.
Yeah, I think people are starting to become aware that there's, how can I say this? There's almost politics in the medicine business.
I mean, behind the doctor is the pharmaceutical company.
Yep.
Not that doctors get kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies, because I think that's illegal.
Yeah.
But the whole purpose of medicine is to make money.
It's not legal if you can't trace it.
I mean, look at the whole system of hospitals charge insane amounts because insurance pays for it.
Right.
Yeah.
The hospital bills this amount. The insurance says this is reasonable, and then the consumer pays for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they jack it up, insurance cuts it down, but it's still too high. So the whole healthcare system is all for profit.
Right. That's why there's reps, like
Yeah.
people that sell medicine.
So how do you trust something that's for profit?
Yeah.
How do you trust your health to someone that's trying to make money?
Right.
It's like, do you trust the car salesman?
No.
No.
Because he's trying to make money, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He's not trying to get you in the best car you deserve. He's trying to get you to buy something that he makes money on.
Right.
So I think people are a little wary of that. Not to say that doctors are not trustworthy, but that like the opioid crisis.
It's a big one.
We were kind of talking about that earlier today about the opioids. It's crazy.
Pharmaceutical companies made a killing on it,
Mm-hmm.
but they killed people on it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Sorry, I was just literally that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
that's why.
I think people are just more inclined to do things themselves health-wise. So seek out other means of treatment or other opinions.
Yeah. Dude, it's so tough though too, because like I'm really looking forward to the day that I could pay for like stem cell injections and they're like $10 and my torn ACL gets fixed in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, it's going to be for a lot of profit.
And again, it's technology and convenience, right?
Yeah. Or I just put a bionic leg on, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think medicine is moving away from
Traditional.
yeah, you go to the doctor, he prescribes you something, that's how you fix it, or he does a surgery and he fixes it. I think people are more inclined to do things like yoga or stretching or meditation, included with their medications and stuff as a supplement.
Do you know what I was thinking? Actually, like people, like certain companies actually encourage a lot of that.
Yeah, it's cool because they're moving towards that where I think some insurance companies are paying you to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I got one. I got mine set up like that.
Yeah. And companies will have like gyms at their
Place.
office.
Yeah. There you go.
They'll have like nap pod. I mean, like Google, like cliche, like nap pods and like
Yeah.
meditation rooms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
For contractors, foremen and everything, for big projects and stuff like that, if there's like OSHA people there and stuff, like I think it's like almost mandatory now that you'd have to do exercises or do stretches and everything before you start working with like these big projects. Like, yeah,
You do. Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
And
There's-
it's like you're saying.
There's actually, I saw, might have been a Chinese factory. All the workers have to stop and do exercises at certain times of the day every day, just to stay healthy.
I saw that. It's like a mass of people.
Yeah,
They're like
they're like
stretching.
they're in like white suits and stuff.
Yeah.
and they're all like doing squats.
I think they
and-
had like the yellow helmets on, right?
Yeah.
Hard hats. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go back to the generationism. How the generation before us just got fat and happy, and now we're trying to fix that through like self-help.
Yeah. Eventually, we're gonna get fat and happy, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we?
I mean, if you don't make it,
Yeah.
you know,
Once
you made it,
they
go
had
fat.
such like a rich economy that it made it easy for them.
Right.
But like we've had to struggle to get where we are. Like sound like a fucking millennial, but like so we know what it was like.
Yeah.
Just because it got easy doesn't mean things change.
Right. I wonder if like the work week would change.
I wish, but you
Yeah.
know, I won't. No way.
Cause like
at least in our industry, you would say.
No, I think in
Or
general,
overall?
I don't like go to like 4 days a week or
Yeah,
something.
4
or
days a
32
week.
hours is
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's not
so.
gonna work.
or like you can work whenever you want.
I think the whole like telecommuting is kind of trying to grow, and I hope it catches, but it's for like sustainability purpose and stuff. Like doing the 9 to 5 every day, that's been around forever, and it's not entirely efficient because you're driving to get there.
Right.
Like you're around people and you have so many distractions at work.
Yeah.
I know there's like the counter argument of you're at home and you can turn the TV on or whatever, but you don't have distractions at home. Like phone calls from clients or like coworkers coming to talk about their day and stuff. So I don't know. I think telecommuting like occasionally is good,
Yeah.
but like working from home all the time is not good.
Right. I think I've heard that like you're only productive at like 3 hours at a time or something weird.
It's like the most productive hours, like between 10 and 11 or something. I've read.
Yeah.
Something weird like.
But for 8 hours sitting there, you're not 100% productive for 8 hours.
Yeah, you're definitely not. So I feel like hopefully eventually the work week changes. Not for us, probably though.
Nah.
I don't see it in our industry. It would change. Maybe others, but I can't see in the engineering realm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Mental health. We'll see it. We'll see what happens.
What do you guys think about like education? Think anything will ever change with it? Everyone's just gonna go into debt all the time.
I think there's going to be, it's going to hit a point where it's just going to be, I think it's going to be, there's a point where really not that many people can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And then either the universities are going to come in and try to say something to get more people back in, or people are just going to be like, yo, I can go do something else and still do just fine.
Dude, you can learn so much on the internet.
Yeah. The only issue is like credibility.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
How do you put on your resume that I'm a welder through YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
It's.
I think eventually though, like it'll. I almost want to say, trade schools are almost going to come back into, like the light.
Those aren't much cheaper either, though.
No,
I don't think so.
I was just going to say because you could get rid of a lot of fluff and just focus on your one thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because even growing up, we learned so much shit that I feel like we don't use today. We don't know about anymore. We're not going to remember how to do. Why learn it? Why waste your time?
Cursive.
The average trade school degree is $33,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's up.
It's up there.
It's up there. Never mind.
But the average bachelor's degree is $127,000.
Wait, what?
Average.
Holy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude, that's
Wait, you
crazy.
didn't hear me, or are you just surprised?
Say it one more time.
The
I'm
average-
both.
The average bachelor's degree is $127,000
Yeah, that's crazy.
in the U.S. I mean, think about it. We paid just tuition was about $45,000 to $50,000.
Yep. That was just
and that's because we're in state at a big public university.
Yeah. I know somebody who's in debt for $100,000, and they actually went to AZ.
I mean, trade school is cheaper, but it's still expensive.
Right.
So
I was just thinking like you could get rid of some fluff.
yeah. I mean,
know.
Holy shit.
you learn exactly what you need to learn.
Yeah. And then you move on.
I didn't know it was that high. I knew it was up there, but Jesus, I didn't think it was that high. As an average, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I think that I really think there's gonna be some change at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but I think it's gonna be something against universities and whatnot.
There's going to be this point where our generation becomes older and like we're so far behind that it's going to hurt the economy because we've been paying into the banks and not into
Like economy.
into
not
like
spending money.
consumerism.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's going to be a point where that gap is just going to span from younger generation all the way to the older generation. And at some point that has to stop, right?
That makes sense, actually.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You kind of blew my mind on that one, actually.
That was a good one. No, that was a really good one.
So like
You
people
heard it here first, people.
like people in their 30s aren't buying houses.
Right.
What's going to happen when the older generation dies off and we're still renting out apartments?
Yeah.
So you're saying, like, when's the market gonna crash?
When are the lucrative businesses going to close? Like car dealerships. When are
Yeah, it's gonna be because we can't afford paying
for luxuries?
Yeah, because you're not spending money in.
Like
As
here's an example.
consumers.
Timeshares don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Were they a lot bigger thing back in the day?
Huge.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because people had money for that kind of stuff. God. So is there a point where like all those luxuries fall off and there's only like essentials left and we're not spending money on things?
Because you're just paying for. I don't think so. I think
And would that force universities to have to make a change?
I think I think that will happen first before we get to the point where like, you know what, we can't afford a house, we can't afford a car. All we're doing is paying for our education or paying the bank for whatever the fuck we loaned for.
Well, I think the government has to step in. There's no other way around it, right?
There's no system right now implemented as a cap or how to monitor these school prices, right? There's no like official way to.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I don't think so.
And then there's schools that like are more accredited. They're going to charge more. So yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't even imagine going like to like MIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way you could go if you got a full ride.
Yeah.
Like
Realistically, yeah.
I mean, if you went to MIT, you're probably going to get a paying job out of school.
Right.
But that bill would be huge. I don't want to make the huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the government has to do something. There's no other way around it.
They have to step in at some point. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get scared.
Or like, what do you think about higher education too in general? Right there, I mean, do you know if there's a lot more people getting higher degrees right now, or no?
When I went to my convocation, when I went to my convocation for my master's degree, there was pretty close to the same number of master's degree graduates as bachelors.
No, really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
There were a lot there. I don't know if that's because it's becoming mainstream or the price or what, but it took a long time to get through it.
That's pretty crazy. I feel like a lot of people are doing that, and I feel like certain jobs are useless without. So a lot of careers you're required to get a master's. Then eventually those careers are going to require you to get a doctorate, and then eventually people are going to be like, "Fuck this."
You really think it's going to get to that?
I think so, because like you said, how many people have masters now? That's going to be your minimum.
We use that word a lot, saturation, but I think a bachelor's degree is getting saturated.
Oh, for sure. Like, do you remember how competitive it was? Like coming out of, I know for you had the same job since 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, it was competitive.
It's super competitive.
Yeah,
That was partially economy based, but
Yeah, that's true.
mhm.
But yeah, I think it's very, very saturated.
I just think it's funny that all these, like I said, the luxuries are just falling off.
Mm-hmm.
Like timeshares and like Applebee's and places that people, like things that people don't do anymore because of societal changes,
That's true.
whether it's financially or just disinterest.
Yeah.
You guys think of anything else that doesn't exist anymore?
Trying to.
For some reason, like golf comes to mind. Like I don't know a lot of people that golf anymore, but I don't really see like courses closing per se.
Yeah.
well, that's because a lot of people that are retired still go out and play.
True. So when those people die off,
Court.
and it's like the millennials as the old generation,
Decline. Yeah,
I think golf is going to start declining.
That's true.
yeah, that's a good point. Like,
What about like sporting events? Sporting events are pretty expensive, right?
Right. What about? I was gonna say traveling. Wasn't it really cheap to travel back in the day?
I don't know, but you just see a lot of millennials trying to travel. Like that's a big
Right.
thing for them now. So I don't think that's like
Yeah.
so maybe more traveling in the future.
I think just for sanity and like health purposes.
So I guess like in the future, it's just you would say it'd still be the same
Or more
or more. Okay.
for our generation.
All right, okay.
I don't know.
A lot of my family doesn't like to travel.
What? Like, they just don't like it, or is like they don't want to spend the money? It's a stupid time.
Everything.
They've already done it.
Not really done it.
No.
Just like the money, the time. It's an inconvenience to sit on an airplane for a long time.
Right.
They're just set in what they like doing, and that's good enough for them.
That's crazy. I think it is a huge millennial thing to want to travel.
Like see other countries and other cultures.
Yeah, because I think before it was a thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now. People want to be worldly,
Cultured.
cultured.
Uncultured swines. We don't want to be that. What about music, really quick? Music in the future. It's going to be a different beat. Like right now, it's all like the festivals and everything right now. I mean, festivals always been big, but like now it's like they're blown out huge.
Dude, I feel like festivals are like another mental health kind of thing, where people go to like find themselves and get a sense of community. And it's not just about the music.
I think it's you want a tribe. You want to go back to tribal days. You don't.
I get what you're saying.
Okay, because I think in every
Some kind of ritual. Is that what you're saying?
kind of like in every single tribe, there's music and everybody gathers around.
You've seen
So
the main.
there's-
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's.
Did you know that 32 million people attended a music festival in 2014 in America?
Have you seen The Matrix, right? The second one?
I did, but I don't remember.
You don't
it
remember?
too.
They get back to, what's their, Zion? They get back to, I think that's the name of their town or whatever. Zion, and then they have a big festival. They're in the future, and everyone's still partying.
Really?
Yeah, they're all dancing and everything.
Yeah, dude. That's never gonna go away. That's just tribal. That's just being humans.
Yeah.
It could be different to the point where like you don't have to go.
Nah,
You're in their virtual reality.
I think people are gonna still need to have that personal physical. You got to see someone. We're made to actually like see people, not like be isolated.
Sure.
What do you think the world's going to be like when you are 45 years old?
Holy.
I'm gonna still be behind a computer doing engineering work.
Oh, yeah.
I really think it's.
Are you going to be like eating your salad to go? What's it called? Salad on the go?
Salad and go.
Salad and go
Yes.
with avocado.
I really think me personally, I think there's going to be some AI stuff going on by that time. I don't know exactly what. Not Skynet yet. I think that's going to be like in the 60s, one of my 60s. So like, that's my time. Here comes the AI. But I think it's going to be heavily heading that way. That's me.
How many years is until we're 45?
20-ish.
That's a
That's a lot.
Mhm.
computer, and the way technology moves, it's so fast now.
Like dial-up was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, I honestly think there's going to be 90% of like things on the road are going to be self-driving.
Yeah.
And there's going to be like that weird 1% person who likes to drive his 1960 car.
Probably going to be illegal.
To drive, do you think personal?
Eventually, I think it will be.
Yeah.
Like you have to go to a track or like a theme park to drive a car.
Because you're too dangerous
Right.
compared to the rest.
If everyone else is doing it, you can't be doing it.
Yeah.
Unless like the self-driving cars are so aware that it can avoid an
I
accident.
think you had a thought going.
How much money is into that industry?
Right now or will be.
Yes. Because I always see it, it's come down to like, if there's a lot of money in it, it's not going to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there's a race between companies to get self-driving cars right
Yeah.
now.
true.
I honestly think it'll eventually get to that point, but I don't think in 20 years. I think it'll be a combination of both.
In our lifetime, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our lifetime. Yeah. But I think
80s,
45.
90s.
Yeah, probably 80s and 90s.
So we'll get rid of
Maybe
those wrong way drivers finally?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have, there's a big problem with that here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Why is this like, I don't know. I feel like it's specifically here too.
I mean, you only hear about it because you live here. but-
Right.
I got a better question. Generally speaking, the generation before us seemed like society and infrastructure and sustainability declined. Would you agree with that? So like the whole global warming,
Yeah.
fossil fuels, overpopulation, overconsumption, food, opioids, stuff like that. Do you think that 20 years from now, life will be better than it was? Like, will it be on the increase instead of the decrease from what we've seen? Like,
Gotcha.
the way the news makes it sound is the world's falling apart right now.
Right.
Right. Do you think 20 years from now, things will be happy and go lucky, or we'll just continue that decline? Do you think we're improving?
That's a good question. That's a hard one.
I see. Okay. I see eventually us improving, right? Like, eventually we're going to find the answer to global warming or to
Cancer.
or to like having to use these fossil fuels, right? Someone smart eventually is going to find that out. I don't think we're going to see it. I think it's going to be, technology is going to advance too fast. There's not going to be enough money behind it to the point where we have an answer. So like, if you guys remember on Elon Musk episode with Joe Rogan, he was like, if these car companies that do like sustainable cars, if they didn't get subsidies from the government, they would not exist.
There's also the law that by 2020 or something like that, your average EPA of all your fleet has to be above 25 or 30 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there are regulations forcing them to be more sustainable.
Perfect. And then what Elon was saying, though, he's like, we shouldn't need those
It should
those
just be
subsidies. It should just be the consumer being like, well, what we get out of it is we start to fix the earth.
like I'm not going to start buying the 10 miles per gallon truck
Right.
because I have an awareness and a conscience of
Yeah.
buying
Plus,
that.
if this costs more, it should be okay because we're paying it towards the earth.
Right.
So, and I just don't see that happening.
People don't
soon.
have that mentality.
No.
yet. No.
No, not at all. And it might be the younger generation right now. It might be the generation after them, but it's not going to be us. Personally, my dream car is a 1967 Dodge Charger, so I am going to drive that one day.
Yeah, I'm looking at something that has like at least like 8 or 12 pistons.
Yeah. 8 or 12?
8 or 12. Hey, you know,
No 10. Just
No 10. That's exactly. I was like, what?
gotta go either, you know.
Gotcha.
But that's like something that I see like myself like luxury. If or you know, like we're talking, but
Yeah.
are we improving?
I think we're making the steps.
You think so?
Yeah. I think we're turning around.
I think right now there's sparks of like, so like a person like Elon Musk or a person, I don't know, there's other people that are like him.
Influencers?
Yeah, influencers that are sparking the ideas right now that eventually will. So you think we're trending in the right direction?
I think so. Just based on the few years I've been alive,
Yeah.
where, like I said, global warming, sustainability
Yeah.
didn't exist when I was younger.
Sure.
And now we're trying to fix things that we've caused.
And with that, Steven? Wait, do we have anything to say?
Yeah, follow the Instagram. I got some cool
Instagram.
pictures on there.
With that, Steven,
We're out.
thanks for tuning in to the Yup Live.
If you enjoyed it, leave us a rating and a review on iTunes, or just follow us at the Up Life Podcast.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play Music.